The village of Vardha in Maharashtra was renowned for its potters' community, but today most of the potters work in other trades as demand for their pots decreases. But there's still a few potter families left, with the women making pots for the Shivratri festival in February, which celebrates the marriage of gods Shiva and Parvati. The villagers follow the tradition of replacing their earthenware vessels during religious festivals. Local clay is collected in rock form and must be carefully prepared for successful pottery production. The whole family helps in the long and arduous clay preparation. Sieved ash is spread on the ground, while the clay is mixed with water and powdered horse dung inside a container set in the ground. A narrow-mouthed pot covered in holes is used like a sieve to smooth out the lumps before the clay is thrown onto the ash. The potter's son uses his feet to wedge the clay, which has been mixed with yet more ash. Along with the horse dung, the ash acts as a strengthening agent to prevent the pots from cracking during firing. Finally, the prepared clay is formed into a mound and covered with plastic, ready to use. This potter is making a water pot. She prepares the curved hollow sitter with ash. She shapes the soft clay by pinching and pulling it up into a thick cylinder, turning the sitter like a potter's wheel. She adds more clay in the form of coils. Soon the cylinder becomes a pot shape with a neck and a rim. After a drying period, the pot is ready for the beating stage. Supporting the pot in a depressed hollow lined with sacking, the potter begins to shape and thin the pot by using a stone anvil held inside and a wooden paddle hit against the outside. These grain containers have also been made by coiling and beating. Just before the firing, red clay slip called geru is applied. Finally, strips of arita tree beans are dipped into kerosene and rubbed over the surface of the pot to give a burnish or sheen. The firing pit slopes down to the back and is lined with bricks. Potters use local agricultural waste for firing, and 4 furrows of rice husks are made, leaving gaps in between for stoking channels during the firing. The grain containers are supported on bricks tilting back with their mouths away from the front of the pit. buffalo dung is ignited in straw and buried at intervals in the rice husk to provide a slow preheat. It'll be 4.5 hours before the final firing begins. Now water pots are placed inverted onto the pile to allow an even temperature rise, then covered with shards to help retain the heat during the firing. Sticks are placed to mark the position of the stoking holes. The pile is covered with bundles of rice straw, compressed down by beating. Finally, a mixture of rice husk and ash is spread over everything to contain the fire and prevent the straw from flying away. Some Indian potters fire at midday to take advantage of the hot sun, but here they fire at night in order to gauge the temperature by the red glow. Wood is stoked through the stoking holes right to the back of the pit until the desired temperature is reached. Next day, and the whole family helps to unpack the kiln. Everyone is pleased that only 3 pots have cracked out of a total of 200.